If you're just joining us, this is Daybreak Africa coming to you from the nation's capital in Abuja here. Let's get straight to the issue of the day. Intense campaign in Edo State is ongoing preparatory to the governorship election coming up September 19, less than 2 weeks away, as the two major political parties in the election prepare to wrestle power from each other. So that's talking about the APC and the PDP. While it is not clear to what level the gladiators, according to political pundits and their supporters, are willing to take their desperation to, it's also important to look at how the political parties are willing to give peace a chance in the coming elections. So let's talk more on the level of preparation ahead the governorship elections. A PDP member in Edo State, Mr. Enatumen Andrew, joins us live via Skype from Government House. Thank you so much for your time on the program, Mr. Enatumen.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's begin to look at the level of preparations ahead of the governorship election. There's so much talks about the preparation, especially the tension and apprehension. But first, I would like you to tell us the preparation by the political parties and the atmosphere in Edo State ahead of the poll.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kaftan, for having me. First of all, the election is very close, which we'll be holding on the 19th of this month. And so far, political parties are rounding up their campaign. As for the People's Democratic Party, they rounded up their campaign in 192 words said yesterday. And the All Progressive Congress, I believe they will be running up their campaign this week. So far, the atmosphere was heat up. The quality was very high before now. But the monarch called the political parties, inclusive with other stakeholders in the state, for a peace accord in his palace, which happened last week, and to ensure that there is peace and harmony during the election. And since then, I believe the atmosphere have a little bit become, considering the fact that the two big players, which is His Excellency, the incumbent governor, and the opposition party, which is the APC, person of Izayamu, have written a peace accord and promised to call all their subject to order. As you can understand, that the peace and security and the welfare of the people lies in the hands of the governor. So it's the responsibility of the governor to ensure that there is safety of life and property, there is safety of the people, So the governor is doing everything within his reach to ensure that there is peace in the election, because Edo State is the heartbeat of Nigeria. And you understand that anything that happens in Edo State has either positive or negative effect in every other state in this country. So far, since after the peace accord, the atmosphere has been relaxed, the atmosphere has been calm, because the two big players, if they call their subject and say, we don't want issues, we don't want fights, this campaign should be issue-based campaign. We're not interested in fighting individual or interested in fighting personality. Let's campaign with fact and figures. So it makes the atmosphere, it makes the narrative interesting. So that's how far it has been for now. And we've been the security personnel too have swung into action and made it obvious to everybody that if you are caught with arms and ammunition in trying to fight a battle that is not yours, you have yourself to blame. And that's what the governor have said. The governor have practically given a warning to his subjects, to all of us that are working with him, that nobody should be caught with arms and ammunition. Nobody should go contrary to the law. That even if somebody slap you, you should go and report to the security agencies. You all know that the governor is a very peaceful man. The governor is a loving man. The governor is a man that don't want problem, because he is the one in charge of security, welfare, and peace of the state. So that's the more reason why the governor is doing everything within his reach to ensure that the state is peaceful, the state is calm.
Let me quickly come in here, Mr. Enatumen. Yes, from what you painted, you are saying that the two political parties, the two gladiators, are willing to give a peace a chance. But it appears that there's so much apprehension in the land. Are you saying that your party, PDP, is willing to honor that meeting with the monarch especially among the political parties and stakeholders?
So the governor is a peace-loving governor, is a peace-loving man. It's his responsibility to ensure that there is peace, there is security of lives and property of his people. People's Democratic Party had been calling for peace even before the royal monarch calls for peace accord. So peace is what we drive. The People's Democratic Party, as you all know, have never been known for violence. It has been a party that have trended on the line, on the path of peace, on the path of unity, on the path of oneness, on the path of harmony. And that is what we stand for. It's a loving party, it's a party full of joy, a party full of happiness, a party full of excitement. So it's unfortunate that just like I was on that media station, TV, and I told him, I said, we should get to a state in this country where if we are doing election, we should be jubilating, we should be celebrating. Election has got nothing to do with brothers and sisters becoming enemy. We are fighting ourselves, killing each other, all in the name of election. I don't think it's actually good. So, and as we all understand that the People's Democratic Party is a party that believes in peace, that believes in unity, that believes in oneness. So if you heard that Edo State, the politics or the polity of Edo State is tensed up, I think other political parties should be held accountable, should be held responsible. But when it comes to the peace accord, you could count PDP as a peace-loving party.
All right, now,
so if anything,
as a member of the People's Democratic Party, let me ask you, how is your party placing the interest of the people in this coming election?
That question alone, how we place the interest of the people in the forthcoming election, with the developmental stride of the governor, putting the people first, that alone should give you a signal that the people comes first in this election. This is the more reason why you see that the political players of the opposition are fighting the governor. Should be placed above the interest of the people. But the governor have made it to understand that the people elected us. And so the interest of the people should be a priority, should be what drives us. That is the more reason why you see the governor is fighting tooth and nail to ensure that there is peace and harmony in the state. Because if anything contrary to peace and harmony, it is the vulnerable, it is the women in the rural environment, it is the less privileged that will suffer it. The airline can afford to fly their children abroad. We can afford to stay in an expensive hotel and hide our face, from danger. But what now happened to the people in the area? What now happened to the poor people, to the poor masses? So the poor masses that elected us into office, they are the ones we are working for. So it is our responsibility to ensure that those people are protected. And that is what the governor is fighting for. The governor have stood his ground to ensure that his own government should be a government of the people, where the son of nobody can become somebody without knowing anybody. And that is what the governor stood for. And that is what they are fighting the governor for. So the governor said, I would rather prefer to lose my seat than for me to share the resources of the state for a few. Because the resources of the state belongs to everybody, belongs to the poor people. So you can't be fighting me for that reason. So the governor has decided to put the people first. That is why you discover that the government is surrounded by, the people-oriented programs. When is it talking about job? Is it talking about employment? Is it talking about salary scheme? Is it the pensioners that have been abandoned over the years that the governor has decided to place as a priority? So you look at the policies and the program of the governor, you understand that they are surrounded it's about the people. Today, Edo State is rated one of the best in Nigeria, who have brought the state out of the ancient city, making the state into a new modern technological state. I can assure you that in 4 years from now, Edo State will be one of the best states in Africa.
Mr. Andrew, we've seen so far from the campaigns that have been ongoing, we've seen a lot of mudslinging, we've seen a lot of character assassination between both parties. And so far, what can you say about this? Instead of bringing forth issue-based campaigns, it's been mudslinging, it's been character assassination between both parties. What can you say about this?
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate that, if I'm privileged to mention him, like the former governor, which is the person of Adams Oshiomhole, it's quite unfortunate that he's pursuing his third-term agenda, his third-term bid. It's very, very obvious. And trying in a bid to pursue his third bid, he knows he has lost his political relevance at the national, even at the state level here. So he's tried everything within his reach to ensure that he grabbed the state in his pocket at all means, at all costs. So a situation where in the last campaign, the last dispensation, he clearly made us to understand that the present candidate right now is not worth being a governor of the state. Now, that same candidate is the candidate you are bringing forward to become a governor to the state. And we at the Edo State people felt that Edo is not Lagos. You cannot just overnight, swingle the mindset of a seat of a heartbeat of a nation. Edo State citizens have gone past the era where one human being will just sit down and dictate what happens in the state of intellectual capacity, the state where we have people of highly intellectual cerebra. So we won't allow that to happen in Edo State. So they are trying to malign the state, the name of the governor, and we, his subjects, so we cannot hold hands when we know that you people, you have a lot of skeleton in your cupboard. We can't watch you malign the state, the name of our governor. One thing you should understand is that this is a governor that have never been mentioned in the EFCC. His name have never been attached to corruption. His name have never been attached to anything negative. So, but we have other people who are campaigning against the governor. They have so many corruption cases attached to their name. And these are the people that will have the guts and have the boldness to come out and want to confront the governor. So because of that, we felt if you know you cannot respect yourself, then let's expose your secret to the public. But fine, the Oba have said, let's put all differences aside, that we are brothers, we are one family. Edo State is a very small state. Instead of just only 17 local government, 3 geopolitical zone, and 192 wards. So how can we be fighting ourselves? But in a bid to grab power at all means, by all costs, a man you said was the brain behind your government, a man you said was the best thing that could ever happen to this country, that is the same man you are coming to tell us now that it's no longer worth to become the governor. For how long are we going to continue to play this kind of...
Let me quickly comment. There are those who are saying, look, the PDP also is guilty about this issue of character assassination. Instead of doing issue-based campaigns, they are also attacking the opposition. I mean, are you also guilty of this as well? With the advantage we have is this. We have issue base at hand. Because we are campaigning with fact and figure. I could practically tell you there is no word in the 192, all through the campaign we went for. There was never a day we did not commission projects. There's nothing more issue based than that. We have a live stream we do regular basis on the governor's handle and on the party handle, trying to tell the people the things the governor have done. So the advantage that the party is having right now is that the governor is a governor of substance that have project to campaign with. We are not telling the people this is what we want to do. Just understand this fact of this analytical fact. We are telling the people that this is what we have done as a government, and this is what we plan doing going forward. You understand? So these are facts and figures. Okay. Just imagine when the former Adams Oshomole came out of recent, he said there's nothing like the Edo refinery. But the federal government came the next week and come and check the refinery and said the refinery was 95% completed. And the man was ashamed. The guy said that pensioners are not paid. Now pensioners came out on the streets and rallied around the governor and said this is the best thing that ever happened to us in the state. The guy came again, he said the teachers are not being taken care of. But the teacher said every 25th of every month we are being paid. Is it the judiciary you want to talk about? Is it the Edo job you want to talk about? Is it the Edo GIS you want to talk about? Interesting, Mr. Natum. Let me take you back now. You talked about the meeting the 2 major political parties and other stakeholders in the state had with the monarch. Was your candidate, the sitting governor, Obaseki, present at that meeting?
Yes, he was present. And he made the monarch to understand that the monarch should understand this fact, that he is operating in 2 major capacities. One is operating at the capacity of a sitting governor that is responsible for the lives, welfare, and property of the people. And is operating at the capacity of a contestant, of a candidate of a political party vying for the position for the second time. So you should understand that the governor have major work in his hand, because it's not just campaigning with, it's not just contesting, he's a sitting governor. So it's his responsibility to ensure that the state, the life and property of the people is well protected, is well secured. And he's campaigning with facts that this is what I have done, and I need you to return me for the line of continuous progress. So he was there, he honored it, because he actually wants peace in the state. But those people that said they will bring in lions and tiger, but we are making them to understand that our responsibility, that if you are lions and tiger, there is somebody that owns lions and tiger. So it's our responsibility to tame lions and tiger. So we will keep lions and tiger where they belong, when they said they will not allow us to have peace in the state. But as far as Edo State is concerned, Edo State must be peaceful. So the lions and tiger, instead of them to make Edo State ungovernable, we will put them where lions and tiger belong.
But where do you put, if you say you are going to do that, where do you put, or where do you place the role of the security agents in all of this? Because it will be like you're taking over the role of the security if you say, okay, we have to make the lion and tiger, put the lion and tiger in their place.
Yes, it's the security agent that will put the lions. Lions and tigers are not found among human beings. So the security agencies, when they see the lions and tigers on the street, they will pick them and put them where lions and tigers should be, until they change their mentality and their orientation to become normal human beings and behave to become responsible in the society. And those state governors basically want to build a responsible citizen. We want to build a state where an average human being will be proud of, where Nigerians will be proud of. This is called the heartbeat of Nigeria. If anything goes wrong with the heart, you know every other aspect of the body will be malfunctioning. So where can you allow lions and tigers to be functioning in your heart? It's not possible. So the security agencies are watching them. So the security agencies will not want them to distort the peace and security of the state and welfare of the state. So that's the more reason why the security agencies are the people that are going to help us.
All right, let's try to wrap it up now.
The state is peaceful.
Okay, let's try to wrap it up now. What should we be expecting? Of course, just few days, less than 2 weeks to the election now. Yes, we do know you've talked so much about the peace meeting, the peace accord meeting that you had, especially within the two political parties and all of that. So should we be expecting a peaceful process of electioneering and voting in the land? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, on a final note, I think the election is going to be very, very peaceful, because we are not going to fold our hands and just watch a bunch of irresponsible people distort the peace and unity of a loving state. You understand? The governor has been known to be a man of wisdom, a man full of idea, a man full of witty invention. So the governor will not just fold his hand and watch people distort the peace of this state. So we have made up our mind and discussed with security agencies, including all other various stakeholders in the state and all other institutions that are involved in this election, that we want this election to be peaceful. And we know that the election is going to be peaceful. So what we decided to do is to ensure that the security agencies man the whole 192 wards. There is something they call snap and send. In fact, there is a searchlight in Edo State right now. They call it snap and send, to ensure that people are being positioned in every polling unit to report incidents. I think the hashtag is trending everywhere. They call it snap and send. So that hashtag is to report incidents of everything, every abnormality happening in every polling unit in Edo State. So there's a searchlight that has been in Edo State right now to ensure that everything is well reported, to ensure that no stone is left unturned. So the state is going to be peaceful. We can assure that. So all our well-wishers, we want you to focus your attention in Edo State. We want you to focus your light in Edo State, because we are not going to leave any stone unturned. This election will not be rigged. It will not happen in Edo State. We are assuring them, if they feel they have a plan in Edo State, we'll make them to understand that Edo State belongs to all of us. We are all stakeholders in this project called Edo State. We understand the game, and we're ready to play the game to the last button. So the message should be clear to them that in as much as we sign a peace accord, we are not going to watch them put hands on our eyes. We will not let that happen in our state. Edo State doesn't belong to some certain set of people. Edo State doesn't belong to some cabal. Edo State belongs to all of us.
How about the people? Are you assuring the people that there won't be any form of intimidation at the polls? Because a recent poll that was conducted showed that people are actually worried about violence and intimidation. So are you assuring the people that there won't be any form of intimidation at the polls?
There will not be intimidation. The governor is up to the task. That is what they are planning to do. That's why they are trying to release their lions and tigers. But while they are releasing their lions and tigers, the person that gave birth to lions and tigers is waiting for them. So we want the people to understand that the governor is on their side, and the governor owns the majority. The governor needs the people, not the carcass. They have the carcass, but we have the people. So the Edo people should be well assured. If you are watching this program, be well assured that your security is well guaranteed. There will be maximum security. The governor is going to fund the Nigerian security to ensure that this election is peaceful. So we call on every Edo-lite to come back that day and vote and defend your votes.
All right.
I'm afraid we have to leave it there. Of course, we'll bring you up again, as the day approaches. We want to thank you very much, Mr. Enatumen, Andrew.
Thank you very much.
A member of Edo PDP. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, and that was Mr. Enatumen talking to us from Government House in Edo State ahead of the governorship poll. We'll take a break now. We'll be back in a moment. Please stay with us.